millions.
You'd love to know what it's like, wouldn't you? What it feels like for a girl.
She's a workaholic. You know, I mean, she'll get up and work all through the night.
She's a fighter. She fights for friendship, she fights for things that she wants.
She is the brand. And in today's world, you can spread that brand.
She was a piss and vinegar lady.
Madonna is the star to the stars. She's marketed herself aggressively and controlled her career meticulously. Like her Brixton comeback, she's used sex, controversy and style to stay in charge. With exclusive footage, this is the story of how she exploits anything and anybody to make her millions.
What it feels like for a girl.
Fame costs. As this unseen footage shows, here's where Madonna started paying, aged just 17, trying to get into the Pearl Lang School of Dance. Madonna arrived here in New York hungry, ambitious and poor. Now, while she was here, she learnt dance, she learnt music, she learnt the art of performance. But Madonna wanted more. She wanted to know how to become an icon.
We had about 150 dancers auditioning, and I saw this dark, skinny girl breaking her bones to do it right, and I thought, that's interesting, and I said to my colleagues, let's take her. Madonna walked herself in this Saturday with a sweater which was cut way down to the back and held together with a safety pin about a foot wide and off of one shoulder. Now, she was about 16 and a half or 17. And I looked at her back and I thought, that girl will do something someday.
Madonna hit New York in 1977 with just $35. That's a weedy 25 quid. But money was tight when she was a child, and she knew how to keep a firm grip on her cash.
She takes a very conservative approach to the cash that comes in, which is what most prudent business managers will advise you to. Fixed income securities, municipal bonds, government bonds, things that generate 8–10% a year interest, which at that level of money is an enormous amount of interest.
I remember once we were in Japan and suddenly there were like 4 lawyers there, and she going, "Oh, I have to go and deal with my business manager and accounts people." But there she was for a whole afternoon doing it and learning, I think, you know, in the middle of I think, the Blonde Ambition tour.
We had to fax to her every check that we wrote on a daily basis. And then she would look at it and call us to tell us that it was okay to send them out.
She's much more frugal, but I think she comes from a different generation. She grew up never having money.
The neat and boring suburbs of Detroit, where Madonna grew up, straight out of a David Lynch film. But Detroit's most famous daughter has become a hate figure. She's corrupted every straight-laced American value people here worship, except, of course, the right to make money, even when she's making it for others. Now, that man there, we've been trying to film all morning, and that man there is one of Madonna's neighbours. This used to be her former childhood home, and he sits there and beeps the horn every time we try and start filming. So basically, I'm just going to tell you, if he beeps the horn, get used to it. That house, worth $320,000. This house, which is Madonna's former childhood home, is going to go between $2 and $3 million when it comes out for open sale.
This used to be my playground.
The estate agent didn't recognise the name Ciccone. It was snapped up by investors who knew the smell of Madonna's teenage angst was worth millions. Now, the estate agent didn't realise, even though there were pictures there of Madonna all over the place.
There were pictures.
You can see the nails on the wall.
Yeah, there were pictures of the family and Madonna herself everywhere.
It's like a big one there. That's a nail.
Yeah, the real estate agent really didn't have any idea. She showed us through and thought it was some old lady that had passed away because all the furniture was still here. So,
what, are you suggesting Madonna's family's furniture was a bit old lady?
No. She had some very nice antiques, actually.
That's if you like your antiques in the style of religious relics. Still, stuff the decor, this place is like a blank check. Now, can you imagine what kind of profit you're going to make? I mean, I know you won't want to go into details, but in a ballpark figure, what do you think you're going to make?
It's difficult to imagine. The sky's the limit as far as we're concerned.
Well, especially for you. What do you think? $2 million, $3 million?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We're looking for a little bit of cash on this end.
Everybody from 1982, her first release under Sire Records. For this, her bank account grew by a pathetic £4,000. Now she earns the same amount in the time it takes to go to the loo and wash her hands.
When she didn't have two stones to rub up against like this, she was the same way when she had two major diamonds to rub up against. The same type of person. I call her, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, you can cut it out of the tape if you want, but she was a piss and vinegar lady. She was really good.
Unearthing Madonna's wealth is like drinking that vinegar. The deeper I got into her accounts, the more people would clam up, scared of the Madonna backlash that has left so many former friends out in the cold.
She keeps everything very, very tight. You getting information about Madonna's money or anything like that is you need the jaws of life basically to pry out.
The easiest bit to work out is her music. She makes just over £1 for every album sold. World album sales stand at around 135 million, thanks in part to her choice of the best producers around.
I gave you Like a Virgin. I hooked up Material Girl, all that stuff. I mean, Madonna and I spent a great deal of time bonding as people before we ever made any music. Madonna is the business. Madonna's a superstar. She is an icon. She's a pop icon. Are there any pop icons who aren't great businesses nowadays? I don't know. Give me a couple. I don't think so. If you're that, you're generating money. That's what it's all about nowadays. She is the brand.
Next to mine, gonna give you all my love.
At certain points in your career, you need different kinds of influences to move to the next level. And I think she is smart about what she wants to do, what steps she wants to take, and the kind of people she needs to surround herself with.
You're so fine, and you're mine.
So, £1 for every album and some extra for singles. That's roughly 140 million. Add 28 million quid in publishing, and that's a total of 168 million pounds. She also learned early on it's not just her records, but her image that's on sale as well. More exclusive photos, this time with her first stylist, Maripol. Madonna knew people wanted to be exactly like her, and that those wannabes were willing to pay.
She's got everything. She's worked her way up, and she's used people that way. Like Marilyn Monroe again, except a much harder Marilyn Monroe.
A lookalike competition from London, 1985. Frankly, I've seen Jack Russells that look more like Madonna, but at least Madge was under no illusion.
Just a lot of junk pushed on your wrist, on both wrists, and then, you know, lots of necklaces and earrings and stuff like that. So you're kind of decorated like a Christmas tree. Should I wear the yellow? This or the black?
This exclusive footage shows how it dawned on Maripol and Madonna that fans were desperate to get hold of that junk.
Well, I had tons of letters from these young kids. They would call me Madonna jewelry designers. And if anything, I was like, excuse me, I'm not Madonna's exclusively jewelry designer. But they were so naive. Kids from all over the world would send me a letter. I want this cross. I want this. And the cross was a symbol of rebellion, the fact that you put it in your ears. But it was also perfect. She's Madonna and she wears crosses.
Fans snapped up Maripol's designs, but Madonna went on to change her look. Maripol, knee-deep in crosses, went bust. She may have owned the image, but Madonna herself was not for sale. And every time Madonna makes another image change, her fans have to play catch-up with their own hard-earned cash. Patrick, Thomas, Jennifer and Art have collectively spent £20,000 on Madonna merchandise. You're all loyal fans. Does Madonna love you enough because she's fleecing you at the same time because she's taking all your money? Do you feel bad about that?
I don't feel like she's fleecing us. She's been a contribution to our life, and as far as bringing different points of view and different artistry and music into our lives, and I think that's a blessing, if anything.
I feel she gives us really all that she can. I mean, she's always making more albums for us to listen to, more videos.
Albums to buy as well, you're not just getting them free. Would you, Patrick, get to a point where you say that ticket's just too expensive? I'm a big fan, but she can forget it.
Oh, definitely. I paid face value, and even that was just unbelievable.
How much was that?
$250 top price.
That's for Drowned World?
Yeah.
Right. And you think that was too much, $250?
That was a lot. That was a hell of a lot of money. It was a great concert, but she didn't charge so much money. I mean, she's not losing any money. She's enough. I love Madonna, but I don't need to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to see her.
Music makes the people come together.
But the fans can't stop buying.
She used to say, in order to make money, you got to spend it. I have to give something to the fans that they're going to want to come to my show. And she was right, 100%.
Videos and books have netted Madonna £7 million. Add tour merchandise and ticket prices at $42 million, so that's $217 million so far.
Real estate for Madonna is a very wise investment. I mean, even at that level, you're carrying a mortgage, so you're writing off, you're getting some tax break here or there.
Exclusive, exclusive, exclusive up here in the Hollywood Hills. You can't get a look into Madonna's house. Now, she's quite canny investing in this area. Firstly, because you make good returns on your money with houses around here. She lives right next to Brad Pitt's. And secondly, because you can't even get within 1,000 miles of her gate. Right, Madonna, see if you can fend off my chopper. This is the way to spot celebrity estates. First, here's her old house, which she sold for a fat profit. But before we got to her new house, celebs did what celebs can when their airspace is being violated and called the cops. We've just been buzzed by the California Highway Patrol police chopper to tell us to stay in this area. But if you could just point the camera over there, Steve, basically you can see roughly in the distance where Madonna's house is. And that's just the kind of luxury she's moved up to. That's the kind of money she now lives in. Right, I've had enough of chasing my tail in the Hollywood Hills. More house hunting later. Now, as Tony Hart would say, it's time to have a look at the gallery. So it's not just the music and the merchandising that's making Madonna money. Along with her homes and her investments, she's become quite the art collector in the last few years. And it's not just art for art's sake, it's art for profit as well. Who exactly is that meant to be? Prince William? Madonna's art collection is described by experts as eclectic, which I think is art experts speak for weird, but still valuable.
I said to her, that's the best thing that you can do. You buy good art, not junk art, but good art. You'll always get your money back, and she did.
Amongst Madonna's top artists are Ouija, Maxfield Parrish, and her favourite, which is Frida Kahlo. In New York's exclusive art district, Marianne Martin rules as the city's top Kahlo expert.
I would say that it's a very eclectic collection, that it reflects personal taste, kind of collection that would be formed by someone who just fell in love with different things and wanted them, because it goes from 14th century medieval work to contemporary.
This is one of Frida Kahlo's 200 known works. Madonna owns 3 of her paintings, all shooting up in value. Frida was a maverick, a woman before her time. Madonna likes that in a girl.
She was very controversial. She smoked, she drank, she sang dirty songs.
Madonna is also a great collector of photographs. Herb Ritz is her favourite. He snapped her right from the...
Knowing nothing and having just an instinct about photographs, she really has a very fine collection, very specific.
Hollywood. She's never really succeeded on celluloid, despite an early hit with Desperately Seeking Susan. Since then, she's broken more bones trying to get into films than any other part of her career.
Madonna is a non-presence in Hollywood, really, and anyone who's an agent or lawyer or executive in Hollywood would tell you. She's been in a couple of blockbusters, Dick Tracy being the biggest. Evita, I guess you can argue, was a blockbuster.
When she was cast as Evita Perón, there was an outcry in Argentina. So she flew to Buenos Aires and went eyeball to eyeball with the Argentinian president. He blinked, she got the part.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Madonna has never earned more than $2 million per film. Julia Roberts gets about $15 million. On Dick Tracy, she took home the basic union rate of £1,000 a week. Madonna's acting career has never really taken off.
I tried to get her to take acting lessons with Mira Rostova, who taught Monty Cliff. And Mira called me up and she said, "You're a friend, but I have to get this little bitch out of my class."
Of course, Madonna has just happened to have married a film director, so her Hollywood career may soon be in for a change.
She's got a guy. I mean, that's that's her strength. I mean, that is all her guys around her. That's him. They're a great couple. Madonna's advice comes through him as well.
Even now, she and Guy are in Malta doing Love, Sex, Drugs and Money. That's a film. So come on, Guy, do the business. So far, films have only earned her £9 million, running total $240 million.
Strike a pose.
Money was 100% driving force for her, like it is for any artist. You know, you must realize that if someone's not going to make money, there's not going to be any driving force.
Fashion. Now this is where Madonna starts to wear the trousers again. Designers fall at her feet to get their clothes on her back, and she's using them to keep her image bang up to date. Now this is Milan 2001 Fashion Week. This is the pinnacle, the absolute pinnacle, the Dolce & Gabbana show. Now you're going to see some fashions, I've seen a preview, which you can actually wear down the pub. I'm not talking about myself, I don't think they'd suit me. But if you're feeling a bit fragile about your weight, don't watch it, because these models haven't seen a pie and chips for about 2-3 years. And few designers worship her as much as the D&G boys.
Madonna is like all the woman in one woman.
It's a good, strange mix of sensuality, power,
character, masculine, feminine, very strong.
Sometimes they would give her clothes and she would call me up and she says what I should do. I said, no problem. You get the clothes and I'll pick it up as income for you.
I dream maybe she wear in case one, I don't know, bra or
one dress,
tank top, one dress of Dolce & Gabbana. It was just a dream.
And being a designer's dream saves about £500,000 a year on her credit card. So savings on clothes about £7 million over her career. Madonna here is on the right, the left, the right. The left. Welcome to the playground of the rich and famous, well, rich, famous and me now. This is Biscayne Bay. Gorgeous setting, and also where Madonna had a house up until 2 years ago. But not only did she enjoy the gorgeous weather of Miami and the setting, but she also made a whacking profit when she sold it. So let's take you there.
Last night I dreamt of something.
As well as homes in LA, New York and the UK, she used to hang around Miami. Get ready to meet the new owner of her old house, Gunther IV. Stroke him in the right place and you too can live here, because he bought this house with money left in the will of an eccentric German countess. In case you're wondering, millionaire Gunther is the Alsatian. He's surrounded by a group of people, Guntherians, who try and keep him happy and in their spare time promote world peace. They're always cheerful, mainly because their boss is a dog. The scary man in black is Gunther's bodyguard. I'm worried about offending the dog. It doesn't offend easily, does it?
No.
Now, this is Madonna's meditation room, is it?
Yes.
Right. Nice view, nice to see.
Nice sunlight coming in the morning.
Come up here in the mornings and do her yoga. It's nice,
And
quiet.
it's heated. It's a heated room, so I'm sure it was some type of...
You're not joking, it's such a boiling, isn't it? Poor dog is panting. Look at that, he's not going to last much longer. Now, this is Gunther's safe, which Madonna built to store her cash.
And why dig a hole in the backyard when you have a 9-inch, 9-foot safe in the back?
Nice. Actually, that sounds like cardboard. I thought it was metal, but it might be. Maybe she was skimping on the safe. Maybe the money was a bit short that time.
No.
Okay. Can I just spin the combination? I've always wanted to do that.
Okay.
I'll get a pair of doctor's stethoscopes and try and break it.
Let's play.
Break it open. Now, I didn't want to do that because Madonna didn't leave behind the combination. Sorry, Gunther. That safe is where his toys were kept. Bang goes my chance of lifelong happiness. This house is where Madonna famously shot the photos for her sex book, which made her nearly £4 million. Even though Gunther sleeps in Madge's old bedroom, there's no chance of him getting randy. He's not even allowed a single bitch in here in case his valuable seed is sown in a Pekingese from the wrong side of town. Right, homes. Madonna is estimated to have made just over £6 million on her houses, so that's up to £253 million. Enough to play Lady of the Manor all day. Now she's bought Ashcombe House in Hampshire for £9 million. It's not just bricks and mortar that she's made money on. Max Factor, AOL and BMW have all bought a piece of her to flog their products. It's been a happy marriage most of the time, apart from a $5 million deal with Pepsi. Then out popped the video for Like a Prayer.
She went to the marketing guy at Pepsi at the time and said, "Are you going to put the reflection of the burning cross, on a billboard or something?" And the guy was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And she said, "Oh, you'll see." And the next day the video came out.
The usual assortment of burning crosses, cleavage and Christ sent moral America mad, and Pepsi bottled it.
She gave back the money from the Pepsi commercial. She didn't keep it. She did it, but she gave it back. She didn't have to.
There's suggestions that she knew everything that was going to happen there and that controversy was just going to benefit her career.
And she's just signed a deal to let Microsoft flog their Windows XP to Ray of Light. Now, there's talk of a $10 million deal, but she's expected to receive just £500,000 after the publishing rights. Still not bad for rehashing her old song, and over the years she's made around £7 million for doing just that. Do the sums, that's $260 million now. Right, back to the music. Madonna's not happy with just her own hits, she's also looking for new acts. As part of her deal with Warner, she was given her own label, Maverick, in 1992, and promptly signed Alanis Morissette.
Alanis was turned down by every other record label in the business, and Maverick did sign her, so give them kudos for that. They recognized the great talent when they heard it, and they signed it. But what have they done since then?
Alanis Morissette's out there making another record, or Prodigy's out there making another record, and those will be coming out next year. In the meantime, you have to build your label and sign more bands and build.
But while Madge's career's on, Maverick is reportedly losing parent company Warner's upwards of £21 million a year. It was quoted that you were saying that Maverick was losing Warner $40 million a year?
I said that? No. I could tell you I definitely didn't say that.
Okay. I think it was...
And I don't even know if that's the right number. Because of her vision and because of her insight into the marketplace, I'm more likely to take a shot. If I was a business person, I'd take more shot with a Madonna than I would somebody who was not a Madonna.
Warner will smile and swallow Maverick's losses as long as Madonna keeps churning out hits. But she's dropped other financial clangers as well. She got burnt by the dot-com bubble when she invested in artistsdirect.com.
She invested $750,000, which now, that stock has just plummeted. It's worth about $12,000. Not a great investment.
Okay, so every good businesswoman makes an occasional mistake, but Madonna's strength is the ability to sack anyone who doesn't shape up. Her first manager would now be a multi-millionaire if Madonna hadn't dumped her.
Right before the final breakup, she came to me and said,
that you're a bitch and I'm a bitch. However, we do work very well together. Let's try and make this work out. In hindsight, I mean, I should have said, sure, yeah, you know, that was it. But I discovered her, I developed her, and I basically wanted to manage her.
I never spoke to her since July 1996. Never spoke to her. I got a call from her secretary, and her secretary told me, Bert, I have to tell you bad news. Oh, I said, can I talk to her? So she said, well, you know Madonna, she doesn't like to talk about these things, which is the truth. She doesn't like to say goodbyes.
If you're not pulling your weight, you're out. Gone. That's not a control freak. That's that's just a sensible person. That's someone who's got their marbles in the right places.
With a fresh generation of fans, the chameleon of pop is blending into new surroundings, and two of her close assistants have just left, so we could be about to see a new Madonna. But her biggest challenge will be to live up to herself. Last year, she earned around £27 million. Add to that the $11 million for a new record deal, and Madge is worth $298 million. After the taxman has shoved his face in her trough, that leaves a total of £149 million. So, our exclusive findings? Surprisingly, she's worth considerably less than 2 decades of hype suggest.
Reports of her being worth $400 million, $250 million, I just don't see how they would get there. There's no real jewel of an asset in Madonna's portfolio.
Especially as Oprah Winfrey is worth £700 million, and that's with a little afternoon chat show. And at £2 million a year, the personal trainers, bodyguards and homes still have to be paid for, so don't expect Madonna to put her feet up.
I don't ever see her retiring. I see her finding other avenues to follow that might be behind the camera.
She may stop making records or stop touring, but there'll always be a creative outlet that she will channel her creativity to.
I don't believe in any way that she's stopping. In fact, I don't believe in any way that she's half done.
If Madonna never has another hit record again for the rest of her life, she'll be a star. She'll be a personality forever.